So, obviously a tough loss. I think what we just talked about in the locker room was we made too many mistakes and had too many self-inflicted wounds to be able to come back and win the game. And again, the fight's there. Guys are trying to work, but there's just too many systematic breakdowns, especially on the defensive side, to be able to win the game. And that was really the difference. Obviously, we didn't defend extremely well. And we tried to play maybe their game a little more of an up and down offensive game, which they're good at and better than us at. And they were able to come away with the win.
What is it about Rashaad Williams that made him so tough tonight? He seemed to get it a lot where we wanted it.
Yeah, the problem is that you can be there on his catch and you can be guarding him with the ball, and he's still able to elevate it and get it to a place where he can make a shot. I mean, there's very few guys that can do that. Where, I mean, John, Traden, those guys are literally blanketed on him, and he's still able to get it to a place where he can get a release off. And it's an impressive talent because he needs actually like zero space to be able to get the shot off. And he had 7 threes himself tonight.
Coach, this is probably one of the more bizarre senior nights that you had. What did it mean to you to still be able to put a couple things on the Jumbotron and show the seniors a little bit of love?
Yeah, I mean, the senior night's always hard because, it's emotional. To have a guy like John who's started every game in his career, who's meant so much to our program, to have a guy like Charles who's been, in the rotation, on again, off again starter through his career, had some big moments, had some big shots. I mean, those two guys mean a lot to this program, and will continue to mean a lot to this program as we move forward. But we wanted to try and do something, and we knew that the Williams family and the Bain family would come through with high-level intros, and that was a great idea. And I think, brought a smile to those guys' face. And again, not exactly how we would want to have it done. And those guys deserve to be celebrated at a high level, but it was the best that we could do, and with the circumstances.
Andy, do you have any indication if those guys will come back next year? They'll take advantage of this extra season that they're being offered?
We haven't talked about it yet. It's something that we'll discuss when the year's over. I think we're focused on the year, and that's what our goal is right now, is to try and improve as a team. But it's definitely conversations that we will have with those guys, and see where they lead.
Hey, Coach. So obviously, getting the win yesterday and a tough state, they made a furious comeback. How do you guys iron out the errors that you mentioned and then come out and better next against Great Mercy?
You got to have intentional practice, right? You got to have guys that are, come into the practice setting to try and right the wrongs, understand what they need to be doing, where they need to be, working at the proper pace. Those are things, that's how you get better. And as much as everybody doesn't want to believe it, they all think to themselves, well, if I just get in the game, then I'll figure it out. Well, the problem is, while you're figuring out, your opponent just scored a basket, you might have just turned the ball over, and now your team's in a worse position than you were before. So it's got to be intentional practice. You got to come every day. And obviously in these back-to-backs, it's super challenging if you haven't built some of the mental capacity or the work capacity necessary to get yourself going, because your body's just not going to feel as well on the second night. And then how well do you know your system? How well can you execute your system? How well can you communicate? It becomes more of a mental thing as much as anything else. And those are the things that you need to do in practice. That's what you build in practice every day. We talked a lot about that in the locker room, that it's not, coming to practice to get by or to survive. It's coming to practice to get better, so that when you get your opportunity to get on the court, you can add value. You can't just come on the court and not know what you're doing, or not be in the right spot, or not be engaged, because all those plays just become killer plays. And you look at a game like tonight that ended up being a 5-point differential. Obviously, they had a big lead a couple times during the game, and we were able to fight back. But when you fight back and then you have 2 breakdowns, where they made 3 on the baseline out of bounds, and then they got 3-point play on the baseline out of bounds, those kind of plays can't happen and shouldn't happen at this point in time if you're really engaged mentally in what's going on.
Coach, what you think about Pat today? Getting a lot of playing time. First time he's really seen him a lot on the court in one game.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he was better. At UIC he played, similar or more minutes. Last night he played a few more minutes. He's got to keep working. He's got to keep working. He's got some of the requisite skills to be a really good forward in the Horizon League. Size, strength, touch, athleticism. Again, he's got to know what's going on around him. He's got to know, the game's still moving so fast for him. And again, a lot of it comes down to, how hard are you going in practice? Because as much as guys don't always want to understand this, the harder you go in practice, the more the game slows down. The harder you go in practice, the more you're capable of making the decisions that are necessary. So if you're only going through the paces in practice, you're not going to be able to prepare yourself for your opportunity and for the game. And those are the things that, guys have to understand and learn. And until you can do it with your eyes closed in practice, you don't really have as much of a chance in the game. And, we're certainly seem to be crawling through that process instead of walking or running through that process with certain guys.
Andy, you lost your leading scorer, so now you've had a chance to digest it for a minute. The chemistry part of the team, do you anticipate any, a little bit of work to try to keep chemistry together? Did you see chemistry tonight? Because you do have a little different team now without that player.
I think our chemistry has been great the last two nights. I think, I think this could help our chemistry. I really think that the ball movement the last couple of nights has been terrific. I think that guys are, communicating and getting the spots. I think when we played at Wright State, we had great ball movement there as well. So I think it's an opportunity for the ball to really move and find the right people, find the right places. And then we just got to finish. I think we had some opportunities again tonight at the rim. We're struggling to finish at the rim a little bit. And that's certainly something we got to continue to work on. Opportunities, whether it's for 3-point plays or even layups that we don't convert, that our opponents seem to be converting. So I think the chemistry, won't be an issue at all.
John had obviously a really nice night shooting, but he's developed into a much more consistent offensive presence for you all year this year. What's been the key for him into becoming a more of a scoring threat this season?
We yell at him every day, Alan. No, just kidding. John is he's the ultimate team guy, and if you told him, a couple of times early on, he was in the double-digit shot category and kind of looked at it and said, well, that's a lot of shots for me. And we told him, we need you to shoot those shots. We need you to be aggressive every time. And, that's his role on our team. Obviously, his decision-making, his leadership, his shot-making have been, excellent all year long. There's not one more thing I think John Williams could do to help this team be any better than it is. And I think every coach on our staff and every player in our locker room believes that wholeheartedly. And so, this is just an extension of his understanding of the game, his ability to adjust and adapt for whatever the team may need. And you see him performing at an extremely high level, which, we're happy about for him.
The yelling seems to be working.
Yeah.